Hello, everybody. Hello, hello. We are getting on right now. We have a very special guest coming on, Mr. Ron Story, coming to talk with us about getting booked solid for podcast. Want to give people a chance to come on in, and I hope you're doing well today. Here we go. All righty then. Hope everyone is doing well today. We are waiting again on our special guest who did confirm with me, so he'll be here any second. I hope you all are doing well. Don't forget to like, thumbs up the video, and don't forget to tell us your name, and more importantly, your city and state. Put your city and state in the chat so we can recognize you. Again, hope everyone is doing well. So I'm going to take an opportunity to just tell you a little bit about the 10K project. And I am going to do that. The best way to do that is for me to show you our video where we tell you what the 10K project is. So give me a second. I'm going to get it started. And hopefully by the time it is done, our special guest will be in the house. So
hello.
Oh, here he is. All right.
I was a bit surprised because it said that it needed me to register. And
Oh,
in our previous calls, I didn't have to register. So
yeah.
I was like, I don't know if I have the right link. So you may have
No.
a text message from me.
Oh, okay. And you know what? My cell phone and everything is over there. I literally ran in and got on the computer, but that's okay. You are doing fine. So everybody, welcome. What I am going to do really quickly is, well, since Ron is here, I'm not going to worry about showing the video. I'm just going to tell you a little bit about the 10K project, who we are, what we're doing. We're already live streaming Ron on YouTube and on Facebook and on Periscope as well. So we want to say hello to the family everywhere. So today's session is going to be about a half hour. And it's all about how to get booked, hopefully solid, on podcast as a guest. And Ron has an excellent tool he has called PitchDB, which I've tried. It is awesome. I have some ways that I go about actually using it and doing my research and figuring out where I want to be booked and contacting people. But I'm sure Ron is going to come in with some of his best practices. But you may be asking yourself, who's the 10K project? How did I get here? We are the largest community of small dollar investors who actively fund Black-owned businesses. So imagine being in Shark Tank, except you are the investor and you can invest with as little as $100. We come every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. together, and we have a Black entrepreneur that comes and gives us what we call a Bet on Black pitch. Then the community gets to ask that entrepreneur questions, and then each individual person gets to decide if they want to invest in that project in exchange for equity or shares in that early stage business. And if you do, great. You are able to invest individually and you are able to support that business. And then eventually, as that business has an exit or a liquidity event, then you can prosper along with that entrepreneur. So that's the 10K project. If you want to learn more, go to weinvestblack.us, weinvestblack.us to learn more. So, Ron, First of all, really quickly, you and I have known each other forever, but I do want you to tell people a little bit about your story. And you were the guy that also helps people start tech companies without knowing how to code. And you've started a lot of tech companies and you've done a lot of sales and things like that. So give everybody the Reader's Digest version of
Okay.
yourself.
Yeah, so I'm Ron Story Jr. I'm originally from St. Louis, Missouri, or if you're from that area, I'm more known. I'm from East St. Louis, Illinois, which is right across the river. It's the home of Jackie Joyner Kersee, Miles Davis, LaFonso Ellis, Don Don Harper, the Olympian. So we're pretty famous for people in athletics and entertainment. But I'm 5'5", and I'm not very athletic, and I definitely can't sing. So I am, probably the only software company out of East St. Louis, at least that I know of, right? So I started as an entrepreneur, starting little companies and advising companies. So I've worked in the financial services business that eventually led me to buying and selling little small software companies. So that's what I do. My mantra that most people know me by is I can't code, but you can't sell. I kind of live by that because all of the coders in the software world are proud of their code, but usually they're not making any money. And I'm very proud of being able to sell things that are already built. So I try to buy those companies and then add a sales process to teach them, or actually to make the company more profitable and to go from there. So that's the Reader's Digest version of me. Yeah, I buy and sell little pieces of software and try to make them profitable.
Fantastic. It's very interesting that you're mentioning that because I was on the phone yesterday with a gentleman who also knows Ace Chapman very well. And for people who are familiar with Ace Chapman, he also buys and sells businesses. And the gentleman that I was on the phone with last night, he said that he's working with Ace. They have a partnership and they go into a specific industry and they work on especially Black women, but women of color overall buying into this industry and doubling the valuation within 12 to 24 months. So he will be coming in September to talk about his process of doing that. But this is the type of stuff that the 10K Project is doing. And you, of course, are a great friend of the 10K Project. You're a member as well, I believe. So talk to us a little bit about PitchDB, because it started out as a platform for speakers and then coronavirus hit, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, so you had to pivot, and I thought the pivot that you did was amazing. And you did a demo for me, which I'll have you do that as well. But talk to us a little bit about people needing to get out and promote themselves in a different way because of COVID.
So the origin story of PitchDB is back in 2017, I bought a data company that owned several million email addresses. And we used those email addresses to set up sales meetings. And one of my friends said, "Can you use your stupid email database to get me booked for speaking gigs?" And I'm like, wait, first off, it's not stupid. It's actually a decent database. Why are you insulting me if you need my help? Right. So we started reaching out to event planners for her, and she got booked pretty easily for these paid speaking gigs. And I'm like, wait, this is too simple. I can't make any money doing this, but because it was too easy. I think you make money by solving hard problems versus the easy ones. And she's like, no, you don't understand how hard this is. This is easy for you, but it's hard for us. So I started to understand and try to learn more about the process of getting booked for speaking gigs, right? So we started working with speakers to get them booked for speaking gigs. But what I began to realize is that the people who were using the software the most weren't speakers. They were the entrepreneurs who happened to speak. And I was like, wait a minute. So the people who actually are looking for paid speaking gigs, they're not really good salespeople because they've never been salespeople. They were always the smart person and someone paid them for their knowledge. But the people who had a sales background or had something to promote, they were like, yo, this is amazing because I can get my business in front of 1,000 people sitting at home during COVID. And I was like, I may be onto something here. Maybe it isn't for speakers, it's for promoters. So if you have a business or a service to promote, what would it cost for you to get on the radio? The radio won't interview you on the radio unless you're famous or something like that. But podcasting is equivalent to radio, just on a microscopic level,
Yeah.
right? So what I started to think about is that, okay, big radio and big television, they really have a megaphone,
Mm-hmm.
right? They have a megaphone to reach everybody.
Mm-hmm.
But podcasters have a microphone. They
Mm-hmm.
can reach a smaller audience, more targeted, right?
Mm-hmm.
That fit directly towards me. If I'm on the radio, 5 million people are hearing me, but only about 50,000 actually need to hear what I'm talking about.
Right.
Podcasting allows me to just talk to those 50,000. Forget everybody else, forget the broad messaging and people say, oh, we don't understand what he's talking about. Nope. Podcasting allows me to talk to my people.
And 50,000 is a lot of people.
Oh yeah, yeah. No,
Look, especially depending on what you're doing and how targeted the audience is, that may be all you need.
Exactly, right? And here's the thing. You don't have to get in front of 50,000 people at once.
Mm-hmm.
You can get in front of 50,000 people, 1,000 at a time.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So if right here in my office here at my house, if I did 5 podcasts a day, now this is an extreme just to illustrate the example. If I did 5 podcasts a day, and they each have 1,000 downloads, I've been in front of 5,000 people today.
Right.
Right? If I could do that for 2 weeks, I'm in front of my 50,000 people.
Mm-hmm.
If my sales funnel is set up properly, when they go to my website and I have a strong call to action and I have a process where they can sign up and try out my product, oh, I'm going to make some money,
Mm-hmm.
right? I'm going to make way more than what if they would have paid me up front,
Right.
right? And then I can do this every day. I can't go and be on WGCI in Chicago every day unless
Mm-hmm.
I'm Steve Harvey or Ricky Smiley with a syndicated show. But I
Mm-hmm.
can be on a different podcast every single day,
Yeah.
without anybody stopping me. And guess what? It don't cost nothing.
Mm-hmm.
It's free. So you're
Yeah.
telling me I can get in front of 50,000 people for free as long as I help them get to wherever they're trying to go?
Yeah.
Sign me up.
Absolutely. And a lot of people think that it has to be like a coaching service or, a store or something like that. But I've seen people get on to promote their nonprofit, get on a certain podcast and promote their nonprofit, what they're doing with kids, how they're homeschooling, things like that, building communities, et cetera. So I know that Deshawn is here, one of the people that's here. She's got SheEO, which is a wonderful nonprofit for girls, helping them get into STEM and entrepreneurship. So, there's a lot of ways that you can slice and dice, and there are a lot of different podcasts that you can be on as well. I mean, the world is going into a micro niche, really micro niche situation. And I think it's great.
Yeah. And that's what I was saying. We went from a world of a megaphone
Yeah.
to the world of the
microphone.
microphone. If you got a microphone and a camera, you have a chance,
Yes.
right? It just takes effort now, right?
Yeah.
So there are 2.4 million podcasts. We're adding about 100,000 podcasts every month to the database.
Wow.
Meaning every week, 25,000 people are making the decision to use their microphone.
Mm-hmm.
You know what the issue is with that? They don't have enough people to interview.
Right.
So
Wow.
a lot of podcasters hit me up and say, man, I love what you're doing because you've saved me time by sending me people. The biggest thing, if you're a small podcaster, the most time consuming thing is finding guests.
Mm.
So you got to go and reach out and ask people to be on your show and prove that your show is good enough for them and beg and pander and all of that stuff. Well, PitchDB reverses that,
Mm-hmm.
right? It reverses that for you and it sends people your way if you're a small podcaster, right? So now you have someone that's helping you with the content creation by being a guest. So,
Absolutely.
I'm a firm believer that there isn't enough content. There isn't enough people to make the content that people want, right? So there's 2.4 million podcasts. They're all looking for guests. There
Mhm.
are millions of businesses that are looking for opportunities to promote their products. I
Mhm.
want to make it very clear. You don't want to go on and turn their podcast into an infomercial,
Right.
right? Your being on there should be providing some type of information and helping the person who's listening reach the next step in their thought process,
Mhm.
right? So today, even though we're talking about PitchDB eventually. What we're talking about right now is how do I help you make that paradigm shift to the next step in your thought process of, hey, I never thought about podcast as an outlet for that, right? So you want to be sure when you become a guest on someone's live, on their podcast or their YouTube channel, that it's not just a pitch fest, right? It's not, it slices, it dices, and it does this and it does that. No, help the listener make that paradigm shift to the next level as to how they can be better. And then the host will naturally ask you, so how do they use your product to do that? You know, so there's a process for that. And at the end of our conversation today, for those who are interested, I'm going to give you an opportunity to use PitchDB for free in something that we call the High Five Challenge, right? And the High Five Challenge is basically where we challenge you to say hi to 5 people every day for 5 days.
Okay.
And it should only take 5 minutes using PitchDB.
Fantastic.
Everybody that we have that have gone through this process, the worst person got booked on 3 stages. Right?
All right.
They only
I love that challenge.
Yeah, it's great. Right. Yeah. So, but the record is 12. Somebody reached out to 25 people and they got booked on 12 stages.
Oh, wow.
Right. And so, I mean, we know that if you do the work, it works out for you. And this isn't a 30-hour challenge. You got to do all this stuff. It's literally 5 minutes, 5 days. Just send the emails. We give you what to say. We give you exactly what to say, so you can't mess it up, right? So it just depends on if you want to put in the effort. But we'll talk about that later. But hopefully I'm helping people make that paradigm shift into seeing the value of being on podcasts for free in front of your target audience.
Yes.
I don't want to go on Good Morning America, right? The reason why is that's my grandmama and them. They ain't paying no, they ain't gonna try to be on no podcast, right? But right now with this 10K project live that we're doing, these are entrepreneurs, these are promoters, these are my people. I want to be in front of my people. I don't care about the Good Morning America, but if they listening, call me. I'll go on there.
Look, Good Morning America, I will help you out.
Yeah.
But
me and my partner, Cherie Ward, we will come on.
We'll come on. I will promote 10K. Ron will promote PitchDB. Yes, we will help you out, Good Morning America. But why don't we do, so first of all, I want to say that I have an accountability group and we met yesterday at 5:30 and I challenged one of the guys to, he was talking about how he wants to do something, really big and significant in his business, but he had been putting it off. And I just said to him, why don't you block out time on your calendar? And he actually took the time, like after our call, and then he texted me and said, I did it, Cherie, like I blocked out the time on my calendar. So my suggestion to you is once Ron does first of all, write it as a note to schedule this in your calendar to do the High Five challenge that Ron is talking about. The second thing is once Ron is done with the demo that we're going to ask him to do, and you say, yes, I want to do the High Five challenge, I want to use PitchDB, put it in your calendar. He says 5 minutes, put in 10 minutes, whatever time works best for you. But that's one of the best pieces of advice that I can give to people is to put it in calendar. So with that, show us what you got.
It's actually pretty interesting that you mentioned that, because I didn't realize I was such a slave to my calendar, right? Like when I'd say, okay, I got to do this tomorrow. And if I look at my calendar and it's empty, I'm going to be wandering around all day and I may get to it. But when my thing beeps and says, hey, it's 11 o'clock, you need to hop on this thing, I'm there, right? Yep. So that calendar thing actually does work.
It does work.
I can testify to that.
Yeah.
So yeah, let me share PitchDB with you guys and the High Five challenge. So let me see how I can share my screen here. All right. Can you see my screen here, Cherie?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay. And all right. Right. So I'm going to log in here, and here's PitchDB. This is what PitchDB is. It's Basically, you can go to pitchdb.com and sign up, and we'll help you with that high five challenge. All you have to do is click on the button that says, I want to get booked for free. So I'm going to show you that. If you go to pitchdb.com, you're going to see a button that says get booked for free, right? And we're going to help you with that. We're going to put you in the challenge if you click get booked for free, right? But when you log in, this is what you see. You don't move any data with PitchDB. We have all the data in here that you need. You connect your email account to send from here. You track all of your pitches, everything right inside. So you need one system. You don't need Salesforce. You don't need a special email account. You don't need a CRM. All you need is PitchDB. So let's say, for instance, I wanted to come on here and for just for fun, let's say I said, you know what? Secretly, I want to be like Cherie, right? So what I would do, I would sneak in here and I'm looking up to her and, I've been Googling her already. So I already got her in here in my autocorrect and I come in and I search and it says, wait, she's been on 81 podcasts. I'm going on all of these because I know they got my people. Cherie talks to the same people I talk to. So I can click here and I can listen to the podcast right here in the, you probably can hear this. Right?
Yeah, it's low, but we can hear it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I can play. Yeah, I don't want it playing too loud in your ears, but I can play the podcast here. I can click on here and see the other episodes of the podcast that's been produced and listen to those. I can look at the reviews. So I don't have to leave and go to the website or go to iTunes or Spotify to vet this podcast. And if it's one that I want to go on, all I do is add it to a list. And I'm going to add this to my African Tech list. And now I can reach out to this person directly via email, right? So I come over here. You can see I got my list of podcasts. I may not remember everything. So when I click on it, it actually brings up a reminder to tell me everything that I needed to know about this podcast, right? And then all I do is click pitch. And it's going to tell me that I'm going to send a pitch from the email account that I connected. So it's not coming from PitchDB, it's coming from your personal email account. So all you do is you click confirm. That's going to move you over into the mailbox automatically. And then I can drop in one of my templates. Hey, Fran, I want to be a clown in the circus. I would love to try out. Thanks, Ron. And all I do is click send. I just pitch Fran. That's it. That's how simple it is. So once you've already created your templates, here, as you can see, I got a bunch of goofy templates that I use just as jokes as I do demos.
Yeah, but you have standard templates too, right?
Exactly. We have some standard templates that we will help you with, but we try to keep it very simple because we don't want everybody sending the same things. We teach you the philosophy on pitching. So I'm going to stop my screen share here and actually, again, take the conversation to another level, right? If you were going to pitch someone to be on their podcast, what would you say? Well, I'm not asking you. I'm actually going to tell you.
Okay, I won't answer then.
It's a cheat question for you. You already know the answer, right? But most people, when they're trying to pitch, they usually go the long route, right? They usually try to impress the podcaster. And the reason that they do that is because that's what they've heard podcasters say that they want. Oh, if you're going to pitch me, listen to 5 episodes and give me 13 reasons why I would be a great guest. Why you would be a great guest. Don't listen to that. You ain't got to do none of that, right? They don't know what they're talking about, right?
Thank God, because I don't have that kind of time.
Exactly. But that's just them saying how they want to feel special. But most of the time, ain't nobody reaching out to them anyway. So don't even listen to them, right? I'm going to tell you what to do. I remember my mom asked me a question one day, and she had questioned something I did with one of my girlfriends. And my crude response to her was, Mom, you've never dated a woman. Why are you telling me this? Right? And she was like, huh? And I said, I want to talk to the person with the deer heads on the wall, not the deer. And she said, wait, what do you mean by that? And I said, well, let me explain. The hunters don't go and ask the deer how to catch deer, right? You don't learn how to catch a deer by talking to a deer. If I want to learn how to hunt, I would go talk to a hunter who has the deer heads on the wall, right? So I'm telling you, when it comes to pitching podcasts, I got the deer head on the wall. Don't listen to
Oh my goodness, that's a cruise. analogy, but okay, we
But
will
it
go
makes
with
sense,
it.
right?
Yeah.
I've pitched. I've actually pitched
Yes, you have
successfully
pitched. You have
podcasts.
been in the lion's
Yeah,
den pitching.
yeah.
Yes.
I'm not just saying, oh yeah, no, come on, we don't want to hear that, right? So how do you go about doing this? And this is just all in fun, right? Well, it's very similar to any interaction we would have in regular life, right? So if I was at the bar and I went up and I met someone at the bar, I wouldn't say, hey, let me tell you about my last 5 girlfriends and why they liked me. Or let me tell you about this girl. She likes me too. Nobody wants to hear that. And I wouldn't say, hey, here, I'll tell you why we're going to get married and have 3 kids in the future. Nah. And the reason why I use dating examples, because everybody's been on a date, right? What you would basically go up and say is, hey, how are you doing? That's the simple feedback, right? So now once they respond, then I can talk more. Well, that's how you pitch anybody, whether you're pitching a sales meeting, whether you're pitching a podcast, whether you're pitching a speaking gig. What you would do is say, hey, are you looking for interesting guests for your podcast? Don't send 5 paragraphs explaining your past history
Love
with your
that.
resume.
Yeah, I love that one simple sentence.
Yeah, that's it. Are you looking for guests? Because if they say no, then why send them those 5 paragraphs?
Yeah. Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Or even if, or sometimes I found that sometimes people just don't respond
Yeah.
either, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you
So,
send you and you're not invested, right?
right,
You're not
right.
invested 20 minutes of your time trying to
They're
find one
trying to
podcast.
research everything about that
Yeah,
person.
just
Yeah.
send them to 25. That's why we do the
Yeah.
high 5 challenge to 25 people. Because I know if you send 25 pitches out, somebody,
Somebody's going to say yes.
yeah,
Yes.
it's no
Yeah.
different than dating. As a guy, we go out and we shoot our shot. And
Hmm.
we ain't, I'm not looking at her LinkedIn profile. I'm a creep. I'm a stalker if I do that type of research on a woman before I approach her. So why do we do that goofy stuff
Yeah.
in our business relationships?
Yeah.
Just ask the person if they would like your help, because me being a guest on your podcast is helping you.
Hmm.
It's a 50-50 relationship. You're helping me by helping me get in front of my audience, but I'm
Hmm.
helping you to create awesome content.
Right.
I'm helping you to create awesome, interesting content, something that's memorable. Everybody's going to remember that deer on the head thing when they get off of here, because it's kind of weird, but
Hmm.
it's a memorable statement,
Hmm.
right? They'll remember the analogy of me talking about pitching should be like dating. It
Yeah.
shouldn't be, I'm going to write a whole resume. Why? Because I'm reading your pitch on my phone.
Hmm.
How many unread emails do you have right now, if you don't mind me asking?
Oh my gosh. I know. Thousands, tens
Okay,
of
right.
thousands total.
How many unread text messages do you have?
Very few.
Exactly. So your
Yeah.
pitch should look like a text message. Why?
Hmm.
Because we've already been trained and conditioned to reply to text messages.
Hmm.
So if I can read your pitch, hey, are you looking for interesting guests on the podcast? I would love to be considered. Thanks, Ron, with a link to my
Hmm.
LinkedIn so that they can go and see who I am.
Just make sure a legit person. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So now
Hmm.
they can just reply back, yeah, Ron, what were you thinking?
Yeah.
Right? That's how you met me. Hey, Ron, I saw you on Lawrence's podcast. Can we
Hmm.
talk?
Yeah,
Sure.
exactly. That was it. That was
That was
it.
it. And I
And it
said,
was
yeah,
easy.
let's do it.
Yeah. So I have a story from many years ago that I always love to share in cases like this. And there was I felt a very good, well-known TV show called Your Business on MSNBC. It used to be on Sundays,
Okay.
and I would watch it, and I watched it literally for 4 or 5 years, saying, "Boy, I would love to be a guest on that show." And I will never forget one day, you have the gazillion reasons of, oh, I need to lose 10 pounds. Oh, I don't think they'll accept me, blah, 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 blah. Well, one day I'm like, you know what? I'm tired of talking about it. I tweeted the woman who was the host, and I just said, hey, when are you going to speak next? So I kind of went around Robin Yard's been, but I have a point here. And she said, I'm going to be speaking at this place, this date and time. So I get on a train, go from DC to New York, when she walks into the venue, I do a beeline to her, like sweat dripping all over me because I had just ran from the Amtrak station. And I simply said to her, "My name is Cherie. I've been watching you for 5 years. I really want to be on your show. Here's a copy of my book," which was a business plan book. Um, "Do you ever accept guests like me?" And she said to me, and I will never ever forget this, "You'll be surprised how few people ask me to be on the show." And this was a nationally syndicated show that was on for 8 years. She gives me her NBC Universal email address, not the fake Gmail address for people who you don't really want to speak with. And she gives me her producer's email address and she says, "Reach out to me." Do you know that 2 months later, I was filming and they said, "Well, we don't know when you're going to be on, but you're going to be on sometime. Just wait." And then 2.5 months after that, it filmed. I didn't even, it showed on TV. I didn't even know it showed. Somebody contacted me who I knew and said, "I just saw you on TV." you know so I'm just saying to you, and Ron, I'm sure, can attest to this, that anybody who's listening is, no matter how high up you think people are on the totem pole, this woman said, "You'll be surprised how few people ask me." And I felt like she was not Good Morning America, but like a peg below it because she was on NBC, you know so yeah.
Here's the thing. They're human, right?
Yeah.
And I won't mention my friends' names who've pitched these people, but
Hmm.
I have friends that have pitched interviews with Robert Smith
Hmm.
and landed it, right? If
Hmm.
you Google Robert Smith at Cornell, that gentleman that's interviewing him is like my little brother. And
Oh
I
wow,
helped,
yeah, I saw that. I saw that
yeah,
interview.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's my little brother, right?
Wow.
And we worked on that pitch, right? And it was quick. Boom. It was 2 years before the interview that we had decided we was going to do that,
Mm-hmm.
right? We pitched, George Lucas of
Mm-hmm.
films,
Star Wars. Yeah.
right?
Star
His
Wars.
wife is Melanie Hobson.
Melanie Hobbs. Yeah.
Okay. Melanie Hobson is the vice president of Ariel Capital
Mm-hmm.
out of Chicago with
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of John's name, but it's a black guy that owns it, but she's the vice president there,
Mm-hmm.
right? We pitched her to be a mentor to someone that was going to business school. Just sent an email. She was like, "Sure, let's talk." We was like, "Holy crap!" Right?
She
Like,
answered. Oh my
yeah,
goodness.
but
Yeah.
we were like, "This George Lucas's wife," right?
Mm-hmm.
But so when we think about that, like I'm saying this, I pitched, Darius Miles, the basketball player,
Oh no, I
right?
don't know.
Well, Darius Miles,
Unless it's
he was
yeah.
an NBA player from East St. Louis.
Okay.
Stayed in the NBA for like 9 years, right?
Okay.
When I was 21, I pitched his mom on being their financial advisor. Oh man,
You told me
she,
about this. Yeah.
she did I tell you about that?
You told me about this. I
Yeah,
didn't know the guy's name, but you told
yeah.
me about
His
this.
name is Darius Miles, and I pitched his mom, and she cussed me out so bad, but it was okay. you know, I figured if this is how billionaires treat you, perfectly fine. When I talk to these people with $50,000, they don't stand a chance.
Mm-hmm. But
so
I think it's just also a matter of a numbers game as well. So even if that person from MSNBC had said no, that would have been fine too. Like I have done a lot of media over, for my business plan business over the course of 10 plus years now, to the point where I look back and I can't even remember everything that I've done, but it is very helpful. It is very helpful. And like what you're saying as well, it's a matter of just figuring out who you want to target, why you want to target them, and what can you say in 1 to 3 sentences that get them to say, "Yeah, that sounds interesting. I want to learn more." So,
exactly. I mean,
yeah.
that's how we've built PitchDB, right?
Hmm.
From me pitching podcasters,
Hmm.
asking if I can be on their show,
Hmm.
from me pitching Facebook group uh, admins, asking if I can teach a class inside of their Facebook groups,
Hmm.
um, for me reaching out directly to speakers, asking a simple question:
Hmm.
Can I help you get booked for a gig? Who's going to say no to that,
Yeah.
right? Because they get something out of it. I'm not
Yeah.
saying, do you want to buy my product? I'm saying, can I
Right.
help you? So
Yes.
always be pushing them to the next level.
Yeah.
That's the secret to all of this. Can I
Hmm.
help you, get booked for a gig? Hey,
Hmm.
can I help teach a class inside of your thing? Can
Yeah.
I help show this? Can I demonstrate this? How can I help you?
Hmm.
As long as you're pitching that way, you'll be okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Does that make sense? Any other
You and your
questions?
audience. Yeah. You and your audience too. So, yeah.
Yeah, I
So,
mean, because
well, no, I didn't have any more questions. Go ahead.
oh yeah, no, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, so everybody again, the High Five Challenge, is here. So I hope that you will take the time. And if you want to take the High Five Challenge, first of all, contact Ron. Ron, how do we
Well,
again
so to do
get?
the high five challenge, it's really
Hmm.
simple. Go to pitchdb.com.
Hmm.
Okay. And go here, and all you do is click get booked for free.
Okay.
Right. When you do that, that's all you have to do. Actually, you know what? Let's do this. I'm going to show you what you do. When you click that, it's going to bring you to this page. In the
Hmm.
referral code,
Hmm.
put in 10K. That way
Perfect.
I know you came from here. Right. So right there in the referral code, just put in 10K.
Perfect.
Right. If you don't remember that, that's fine. When you get on the call, I'll ask you, how did you hear about it? And you'll tell
Hmm.
me 10K, and I'll know it's for the high five challenge. But it's really simple. That's it. And we'll get you booked. We'll put you in the high five challenge. The worst person has gotten booked on 3. Our record is 12. I challenge some of y'all to beat my record of 12. I bet you can't get booked on more than 12. Let's see. Here's the thing. If you can get booked on more than 12, I'll give you a free lifetime account with PitchDB.
What?
Right? Because I don't think anybody can beat it. You'll get a free lifetime account. I'll give you PitchDB forever for the person that can get booked on more than 12. Michael has the record of 12 right now.
All right.
So
Well,
that's
look,
my challenge. We got a challenge in a challenge. I'll give
it's
you a lifetime account for free. You never have to pay for it.
I love it. I love it. And don't forget, if you're going to take this challenge, to book it on your calendar. Book the 10 minutes per day sometime on your calendar, because Ron is a slave to his calendar. I am too. I'm also better if I have an accountability person or someone that I have to meet on Zoom or someplace like that. Like, yeah, I'm going to get this assignment done, unless it's like a client that's expecting their work from me. So, look, anything you have to do to cheat to get your way to where you're going, I'm a fan of it. So, with that, we hope everyone has a great weekend. Ron, thank you so much for being with us today. And everybody have a great weekend. We'll see you on Monday. Take care. Bye bye.